Hey, so I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into the occult. I actually kind of wanted to talk about this yesterday, but I didn't really get around to it. I've been an occultist for over a decade now. I've been involved in the occult since 2010. Um, how I got into the occult. Technically, I got into the occult very early, much earlier than 2010. I was technically studying the occult back in 2001. I had a book that was published in 2001 that covered the occult a little bit, but was more of a kid's book about Halloween. But it did cover the occult in a little bit. It had a few blessings in it, few rituals, and I was involved in that back in 2001. I've always had an inclination towards the occult. Like even when I was very, very deeply Protestant, I was still performing what were basically rituals. They had all the elements of actual occult ritual, but I just thought I was playing pretend. I was a kid playing pretend, and yet at the same time I was carrying out real occult rituals, basically calling on grand dragons and whatnot. Uh, However, in 2010, I spent my 17th birthday in a mental hospital. And the reason why I was in the mental hospital was for anger issues. It wasn't for psychosis or anything like that. I just happened to have a lot of anger issues when I was a teenager. A lot more than I do now. I know I come off pretty angry in some of my videos, but you don't know anything about anger. When I was a teenager, I was very angry. So I had actually put a hole in my therapist's wall, and that was why I was in the hospital. So I spent my 17th birthday, in the hospital. And, after a certain amount of time, you're allowed to go downstairs because there's a two-story building, and the upstairs is where they actually keep you. And then there's a downstairs, which is still locked, but it's more open. And that's where, like, the recreational facilities are. So after a short period of time, I was allowed to go downstairs, and there was a leisure therapist there. And he had a neurophone, which is that electromagnetic sound device where you can put it on your head or on your cheek or something, and it'll play music straight through your bones, straight through your skin, and you can hear it. And if you happen to wear headphones with that on your skull, it'll actually give you a surround sound effect, which is pretty cool. He also had these like rave glasses. They were like glasses that would flash lights, and if you listened to music and closed your eyes while you had them on, they would like kind of sync up with the music and give you a cool rave effect, which was really cool. But he also had a book on the seven chakras, and he had Tibetan singing bowls. And what he did was he had me lay down, and he put one of the singing bowls on my chest, and he played it, and the thing rang out in this crazy way, and it tuned itself to my heartbeat, which is really, really unusual. It's such a weird experience, and your whole body just vibrates. So that got me interested, and I started reading the book that he had on the seven chakras, and I realized thousands of years before the birth of Christ, because I know the chakras are thousands of years before the birth of Christ. The oldest books that we know of that discuss the seven chakras are like 5000 BC. you know, they're old books. But thousands of years before the birth of Christ, the Indians knew about the functions of the internal organs. Like each chakra corresponds to a region, and the chakra governs the things that the organs in that region of the body actually govern. it's just so weird. How did these people know it? They didn't, perform surgery. They didn't have, open live surgeries back then, did they? So I was very curious, and I decided to go find out more. Um, so after I got out of the hospital, I looked up local occult bookstores, New Age, metaphysics, all that, and I found a couple. And I started buying up books like crazy. At first, I was still a Christian, so at first I was, very cautious and not looking to get into the magic side of things. So I got a couple of books on herbs, a couple of books on like numerology and astrology and stuff like that. But further and further, I grew more and more into the occult. And in 2014, October 2014, I officially left Christianity. I figured, at this point in time, the Bible isn't really serving me, Christianity isn't really serving me. I'm not a Christian anymore. I'm living in a way that no Christian actually lives. Of course, I was wrong about that. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not a Christian anymore. And, making that decision was really difficult. It felt like taking a leap of faith. It felt like that scene in the Lost, no, not the Lost, the Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, where he has to take a leap of faith and step out onto that stone block thing that just blends in with everything, and you can't see it there. It felt like that. It felt like I was stepping out and risking my life. Of course, looking back now, it's like that's hilarious. But I've never been a Satanist, by the way. Hellbent has nothing to do with Satanism. Okay, it's my own philosophy, which I can describe in another video. You might be interested in it. It's not the same thing as Satanism. It's not even remotely related to Satanism. In fact, it's probably more related to Buddhism. Uh, if you hear my description of Hellbent Philosophy, yeah. So yeah, that's how I got involved in the occult. Thanks for watching. Peace.